Let's see if this one works now. Do we have any audio? Let's see if we have any audio in here. Can I have a thumbs up if I have any audio in the chat? Nope. Let's see if we can get some audio from the camera. So I'm trying to different microphone. If you can guys give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yay! Perfect. Okay. So I don't know because the microphone is turned on. So as long as you guys can hear me, that's all good. I'm just gonna keep it up. I'm not sure which microphone is picking up, but welcome back at the Illustrator Creative Challenge. Whew, that was a sweaty start. We're gonna be starting and jumping right inside Illustrator because this is the time to sharpen your skills and learn new techniques in Adobe Illustrator. I'm gonna jump in a different scene where I show my computer, so bear with me if it doesn't, if for some reason now that I changed scene we don't have the audio. Just bear with me until hopefully we get it there. But in the meantime, you can click right below the description and start to get ahead by downloading the starter file. So if you click on the getting started, today we're going to be talking about creating a file for print. In particular, we're going to be focusing on menus. I know that that's a request that many of you send me messages on how to do. So hopefully we're going to get into work in just a second. So click on the link and start by downloading the starter file. I also see the lovely Wade Acuff that's put it in the chat. Up some audio here. It looks like my Yeti microphone for some reason is not working, but maybe we can trust our camera. So let's see. Let me know always in the chat if you can hear me. I always it's always very important that you guys can hear me out while we do this. So again, thumbs up in the chat if you can hear the audio. In the meantime, if you have downloaded the actual started file, the file looks like that. So we have a specific file that is ready for print. Wait, thank you so much. It's working all right. All good, all good. Sorry, I was just a little bit concerned. So here we go. Today we're going to be working in creating a file for print directly inside Illustrator. As usual at the Creative Challenges, you have the opportunity of working with a starter file. The starter file allows you to have already a file that is ready for you to use, but I think that is always nice to just give you like a jump start on how to create this file. And also, let me talk you through what this template and style and file is all about. You can see that I've prepared for you that there is already a color code, so we know that this orange area outside the margin is called bleed. This is the area that we place outside the margin. So this is a menu of one of my clients, and let me just use another. Let's see if this is probably a little bit better because it doesn't have a green color. So as you can see, you have a color background, whatever color background that is at the margin of your menu or any printed graphic. The bleed will allow you to extend of about 3 millimeters or 0.125 inches your color background. By doing so, when the printer goes and cuts and trims your printed design, if you have any color that is in the background, you will not have any problem by showing any white lines, because if you do not extend your background, then you will have some little white spaces coming up on the printer. Let me know in the chat if that ever happened to you. Bleeds are a really lifesaver when it comes to design. No matter which app are you working with, always extend the background to make sure that the color of the background will not be trimmed, so you allow the printer to make some mistakes where cutting and nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna notice. Also want to say a quick hello in the chat. I can see Steve in the chat, Stacy, of course we have Ashish and Wade helping us out with the wonderful links. For those of you that are watching also on YouTube, welcome, welcome. Lovely to see you here. Let me know if you have any question in the chat. The chat that I'm looking at, Clever, Robert, Katrina, thank you so much for being here, Laura. So the chat that I'm looking at is the chat on behance.net/live. So please join that chat if you have any specific question during this stream. Now, if you have downloaded the started file, this is pretty much ready to go. It's very important to create layers. If you do not have the layers panel open, or you do not know how to open up a layers panel, you really want to make sure to head on the window menu, and under window, all you have to do is to click on layers, and there you will be able to activate the layers panel, and you will see that the layers panel will pop up. So as you can see in this layer, I've split my document depending on the content, because layers are groups and are folders that allow you to have control on your content, because not only you can lock it, you see we have a little lock here on the guides so they don't go anywhere, but also it allows you to hide and show the elements of your document. So everything that you see in here, so we have our guides, we have our margin, we have our safe area with the bleed, everything here is under to hide info. So again, this is locked, and whenever we click on the little lock icon, we make sure that we cannot edit whatever is on the canvas or on the artboard. But then you can also hide it. So once we're going to be ready with our design, we can hide all this stuff that is there simply to help you out and understand where to place the information. Perfect. So hopefully everything is clear. I'm going to go and have a quick look at the messages. I want to make sure that you still can hear me. I got a little bit scared there because we have another stream after this one coming up. We have a how-to, another hour together working in InDesign. So Dorina is asking, is 3mm the standard bleed size, or 5 works as well? So it's up to the printer. 3mm is the standard one, so that's what is commonly used. That doesn't mean the 5mm is an issue. Absolutely. My best advice is to ring up your printer. Whenever I do any work, my printer knows my names because I'm there ringing them, sending an email, ask a question, depending on the document that you're working with. I recommend a 3mm because that's enough. And the reason why they calculate is because you have to imagine whenever a page gets trimmed. So let's imagine this menu cover has to be cropped. It doesn't get cropped all at once, but they have hundreds, and I used to work at a printer, by the way, at a printer shop before starting. They have thousands and thousands of paper that is kept together by suctions, by hair. So they can slide, and usually the room that they have is about 3mm. That's why we say that that's the standard. By the way, if you get a chance, go and visit a printer. I really, really strongly recommend you to do that. Now, so you have the starter file. Just real quick, if you wanted to start by yourself, by the way, you can download this starter file. It's ready for you to use directly on the link below here, the video. But you can also create your own file, making sure to start by the welcome page here in Illustrator. Click on new file. Make sure to set your intent for print. That will allow Illustrator to change all your settings for your document, ready for print, color mode, CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, which are the standard color for our print design, and then the raster effect at 300 ppi. So that will be automatically put together by Illustrator when you set your intent to print. So you let Illustrator know what is the final use of your file. Then the bleed here can be set automatically. Again, 3mm is what I'm going to go for, and then you can click on create. By the way, if you ever want to add or delete bleed, you can always head back to file and then document setup, and here you can also hide or add the bleed. So you can always edit this document setup. So that's how I quickly set up this document. Now here I also added this information. So we have a safe area, which is this turquoise. That's where the text is going to go in. So we have enough margins, and then we have this margin area, which in this case is 50 point, that allows you to frame the content. But let's talk about the content because time goes way too fast. I'm looking if there is any question. Steve is saying, yes, printer tours are fantastic. Absolutely. I agree with you, Steve. Clever is saying, I'm becoming more used to making layouts in Illustrator, usually using InDesign. Well, Clever, if you stick around afterwards, we're going to be live with a how-to, and there we will be actually working with InDesign to create a menu. So I'll actually show you the difference between the two. Perfect. So once we have these files set up, so we have our bleed, we know our margin, we create our grids. If you're wondering how I've created the grids, all I've done is to use a rectangle, and then you can click and drag anywhere. And I'm just going to do it here, so it's just a little bit more visible. So you can use any shape, and then translate it into grids by simply creating a rectangle in whichever area you wish to split into a grid. Then you can head to Object, Path, and from there, split into grid. I'm going to zoom in because it's just right here behind me. So split into grid is the place to go. And then there you can decide the number of row and columns. I usually just make sure to click on preview so you can see that happening live. And I'm going to zoom in for you to see it a little bit better. Now, when I work with text, I always add gutter, which is the space in between the line, just like so, and that will give you like a little bit of space if you place in the text, so you know, if you have different paragraphs, they don't sit on top of each other. So again, path, split into grid, then you put whatever you want in terms of the setting that you want to split your document into, and then make sure to click on preview. You could choose to add guides, but look what happened. If you add guides, it just kind of tend to stretches the guides outside the margins as well. So I tend not to use these, although I have a wonderful shortcut that only is worth me having audio on this stream. So I'm going to go ahead and untick add guides. I split my shape into grid. It's such a useful tool. And then all you have to do here to translate these shapes, because at the moment they're still shapes, into guides, is to use the shortcut Command 5. There will be Control 5 if you're working on a Windows machine. And just by doing so, you have transformed your shapes into guides that you can use again as a guideline for your design. So if you were wondering how I created this layout, boom, here it is. But as I said, this is all ready for you to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and hold the Option key and drag my text to start to lay it out. So the first thing that I want to do here is to show you that this is an area type. So this is a point type. And the reason why we can say that this is a point type is by looking at the text frame, we know that we have just one handle on the side. So if I click and drag and make sure to hold the Shift key to click to maintain proportion, I change the size of my text. Now, if I want to change the size of the text area, all you're left to do is to double click on this little handle here, and I'm going to zoom in on it. So if you double click on this handle here, you will transform, you will see that it will change color, and you will see that there is another little square one over there. So we have now transformed the point type into an area type. And if we click and drag the corner of the bounding box, we will be able to change the size of the area that will contain our text. Now, before we move on, this is a very important step, because otherwise your next step, which is how to split a text in 2 columns to make a nice 2 columns grid in Illustrator, wouldn't work. So once you've transformed an area type into, a point type into an area type, all you're left to do is to add under type, and here you can now select area type option. By the way, as you can see, convert to point type is also available on the menu, so you can always click on that and you will see that this little handle will change. We do not have a handle on the bottom. Remember, this is the visual cue that lets you know if you're working with an area type or a point type. Remember, point type stretches the text and the size, while the area type stretches the areas in which you can input text. So if you have to type more text, remember the area type is the one that you modify. So, and again, we're going to go ahead and go to type and choose convert to area type. And now the area type options are going to be available. So we're going to go ahead and click on area options. And here we're going to be able to also change the number of columns, still using Illustrator here. Isn't that amazing? And I want to make sure that I use the same, I think I'll use the 5mm. This is what I usually use for my gutter. Again, the space in between the columns. And when you're done, make sure to click on preview so you can see that happening live. And I wonder if you need me to zoom in so you can see that a little bit better. So see, it's 1 column and then it splits the text into column. You can choose if the text flows from top left to right or by columns. In this case, I want to do it by column. So I want my menu to have a list, perhaps a starter and then main. So I'm just going to go ahead and have it going, the text going by column, especially because I've split my document into column. And then once I'm done, I'm going to click on OK. And because I still have my text area selected, I can go ahead and click and drag my corner of the bounding box, and you can see that automatically everything reflow inside my document. Isn't that super amazing? I think that's pretty exciting, because that allows us to literally use the space of the 2 columns here for our text. So we have our starter on one side and the mains on the other. Steve is saying text blocks can be shapes, but it will larger docs the space between two facing pages. I think I missed the conversation there. Hi Valerie, nice to see you there. Hi Dorina, thank you so much for joining. It doesn't look like there is any question. I know that I've just have like 5 minutes to style the text real quick. Perfect. So I think there was a facing pages. Yeah, if you have facing pages coming together, we're going to talk about inside margin, but that's best done in InDesign. So I'm literally going to do that after this stream. So after we're going to finishing with the challenge, we're going to jump on how to and do a menu in InDesign and talk about facing pages and how to create something like that as well. But let's finish up this one. We're nearly done. It looks like the text is a little bit too small, so all I'm left to do is to outline it all by pressing Command A or Alt or Control A if you're working on Windows. We can select it all, not outline it, and then head at the Properties panel, and here you can choose the best font. And you can take your time here to really understand which is the best font that matches the theme and the mood of your restaurant, of your bar, whatever you prefer. I really love this on Next. I think that is very, very clear. And then you can also take it a little bit further by creating paragraph styles directly here in Illustrator. All you have to do is to head to the window menu, and then here under type, you will be able to find the paragraph styles. Creating a paragraph style, all you have to do is to create a new style here by pressing the little plus icon located at the bottom of the panel. And this will allow you real quick to set a full style for the entire text. So you can change basic formatting. For example, this is definitely too big. I think there's something like 14. I tend to use like 16 for the titles, and then anything between 12 and 14 for the rest of the text. So perhaps here I can even go maybe like, let's keep it to 13. You can also, if you wish, change the case. Maybe if you want everything all caps, that's up to you. I'm going to leave it to normal. And then you can also choose the indent and spacing. So maybe you can choose the space after to 2 points. So you will see automatically that the text here is spaced a little bit better. So you don't have to press the return, but you have automatically the spacing that will move your paragraphs apart. So we can really understand which food is what. Perfect. So now that we are done, we can go ahead and click on OK. And then from here, if you wish to style it even further, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I can move my text so everything flows nice inside our menu. We can also add a little break here and make sure that we have our mains heading directly into our other page, just right there. So if we bring our mains to the next column, just like that, by adding a break, we will be able to display the text and maybe even have some space for something on the top, like, you know, maybe your logo or your illustration. So the beauty is now that we know our margin, we know the safe area. So if we head to the layers panel and we hide the element to hide and even the columns, because you don't need that anymore, you have already your text style ready to go. So you just gotta polish it up. Maybe you can do something like select something like the starter, the title, and create a new paragraph styles, which, by the way, you can always double click and rename. So I'm going to call this one title here. And then maybe just give it a different weight, make it a little bit bigger. So we're going to make this ultra, and maybe, as I said, make it a little bit bigger in terms of size as well. And in terms of spacing, we can give it a little bit more distance from the rest of the description. And when you're done, you can click on OK. And then the beauty of using paragraph style is that if you want to apply the same here to your mains, all you have to do is to click on title, and you will see that it will be automatically added to your mains as well. And all you're left to do here is to head to your background layer, which is located under the text, and select any shape that you wish and click and drag in order to create a shape. And then you can add a gradient, a color, whatever you want. I'm just going to add double click on the fill to add a color that will give us some contrast. And that's pretty much done. All you're left to do is to add your logo there for your restaurant at the top. You can also change the color of your text. but that really is the basics of creating this element for print. I'm just going to go ahead and search in my libraries real quick to see if we can add a little bit of the decorative elements, but you can use something as simple as the pencil tool. Let me actually do it with the pencil tool and simply go ahead and drag and click. By the way, look at the beauty of the pencil tool. I'm literally using my trackpad, but you can see the line is being automatically smoothed down with the pencil tool. And if your pencil tool gives you jagged edges when you work with it, the reason is because you want to make sure that when you double click on it, you can select the pencil tool option, and you want to make sure that this slider is all the way to smooth. And by doing so, you will be able to have smooth line just like I've done. So I'm working on a laptop machine, as you can see here. I want to break everything, but I'm literally working on my trackpad. So I will just show you the difference real quick. If my fidelity was too accurate and I try and go and to do a line like I did before, it was not going to look as smooth as the one as I've done there. Although there is a secret tool before we go, which is called the smooth tool, and it's right here inside the toolbar. It looks like a pencil, but it's got like some stripe on it, which allows you to click on it and delete those anchor points that make the jagged edges and really transform your pointy lines in some curved lines. Perfect here. So again, all you're left to do is perhaps to change color. If you wish to change the color of the text, because we use the paragraph styles, we can always go back, double click on the paragraph style, and from here, for example, head to the character color and change a different color for your menu. This is absolutely up to you. I really look forward to see what you guys are going to create. You can do that with any style. Again, here maybe we can choose a different color. Probably if I choose a different color for the background, that's even better. So you can go ahead and really make the most out of this file. Remember, what you want to make sure is that all your lines are outside the bleed, so that will make it safe for your printer. Unfortunately, it's time to say goodbye because we're going to jump right into how to. I hope that this was very helpful for you to learn on how to create the file for print, and also how to create a menu by using the margin. As you can see here, everything is kept within the guides and within our main guidelines that we had for our menu. So thank you so much. Unfortunately, it's time to say bye-bye for the challenges. Don't forget to tune in.
There are more challenges coming up. I'm going to be with you for these 2 weeks. And I will literally go and grab a glass of water myself, and then I will see you back for a brand new episode of How to Graphic Design here on Adobe Live. Bye, everybody.